The Office is one of my favorite television shows of all time, if it isn't my favorite television show of all time. It's a running gag on my podcast, Hi Mom, between my co host and I, where I'll occasionally mention The Office and I'll slip in a few Office references without him knowing, just because he's never really been a fan of the show and hasn't really watched the show a whole lot. So I'm here today to talk about The Office, but specifically to talk about Andy Bernard, the Nard Dog, uh, because it's really hard for me to say which is my favorite characters because they all do things that I really like. And one of the things that I really enjoy about the character Andy is that despite him having like these anger management tendencies in the beginning of the show, and then being a bit of a jerk or a by the end of the show, the character through and through is a hopeless romantic. He's the not quite self-aware, but really wants or really wishes that his life was like a romantic comedy, I would say. We can see this in some of the episodes, such as or in the little story arcs where he's dating Angela and he's marrying her and he wants to go all out for the wedding, and he's talking about how it's every boy's fantasy to dream about their wedding or whatever. And how like Angela is clearly not the person that he should be marrying, because in his head and what he wants out of relationships is not what he's going to get from her. But also, when he later on starts to date Aaron, and they have that whole episode where they start dating, but it hasn't yet been announced to the rest of the cast or the rest of the office that they are indeed together, and they want to avoid the drama of it all. And it's clearly just Andy making up drama that does not exist, and when all of the characters eventually find out, they don't care about it, and it was mostly just Andy trying to play it up like as if he was Jim and Pam, when they didn't want to tell anybody that they were together, so that everybody would like, I guess, cheer them on when they found out, and he doesn't get that. I don't know if that's necessarily what he was going for, but he definitely wanted to keep it to themselves before everybody found out, just because it's something that you would see in a romantic comedy, or it's something that we actually saw in this show itself, where Jim and Pam were dating and they didn't want to tell the rest of the show yet. So little things like that. One specific moment that really comes or calls out to me is when the lecture circuit episode. It's part one of lecture circuit, where plot A is Pam and Michael going out on around the East Coast, and going to all the other branches of Dunder Mifflin, and Michael giving his little lecture. And then the B plot is probably one of the most iconic moments in the show. It's when Jim and Dwight have to team up to celebrate Kelly's birthday after forgetting about it. And both of these plot lines are really good. It's some of the best stuff in the show. And then there's the C plot line with Andy, where he is trying to woo one of Stanley's clients. And he ends up going about it in all the wrong ways, and by the end of it, when he does get the client, when he convinces Stanley to give him the client, he ends up losing the account. I don't think that it's as strong as the rest of the episode, but I think it's still enough of a solid Nard Dog moment, or a solid Nard Dog episode, because he's really kind of putting himself out there after having his heart broken by Angela and the Angela and Dwight affair just from a few episodes prior. And I think that at the end of the episode, where he's walking the client down to her car, and they're talking about how cold it is and he's freezing, and he wants to go back upstairs to get his sweater, it just kind of like screams the whole like Andy being a romantic comedy fan, I guess, and him trying to live his life as a romantic comedy, where he sees this girl as his potential love interest, and even though he doesn't quite know her, and things aren't quite as far along as he would, I guess, as far as long as he thinks things are in his head, he wants to spend as much time with her, and he's actually has the audacity to ask this girl who he just met, and they don't really know each other, and she's there on business, but he's there trying to woo her, if she would actually wait for him and go upstairs so that he can get his sweater. And when she says no, I mean, my car is right here, he goes for it, taking Creed's advice. And when that doesn't work, this is where it really just kind of becomes Andy, where he's talking about how he just got out of a relationship and he's a mess and he doesn't know what to do. The girl just trying to make him feel better. She says to him that it's okay, I just got out of a relationship myself, it's kind of hard. And he like thinks that things are back on. He doesn't quite grasp that she's just trying to make him feel better, and he tries to one more time jump at trying to woo her. Like, right? Isn't it difficult? And he tries to get her to see if they want to talk about things, and talk about their relationships or their past relationships, and kind of hoping that that connection further goes in the direction that he thinks is going in his head. It's just so encapsulating of the kind of character that Andy is. How he's so disconnected from, I guess, real life norms, since, you know, we know that Andy is, you know, a trust fund kid, and he hasn't really had typical life experiences, and I'm sure that because his relationship with his parents is so strained, that he probably grew up watching a lot of romantic comedies, and he thinks that this is the way that love goes, and this is the way that love should go, and he's looking for those connections that he's probably experienced on television or in movies, and trying to bring it to life. It's so perfect. It's probably one of my favorite things about the Andy character. And even though Lecture Circuit has so much better or so much more iconic moments, and I guess heartfelt moments, this little moment with Andy where he is trying to woo this client and trying to create a connection that isn't necessarily there, it just speaks volume to how Andy sees himself and how he wants life to play out for him, or the little moments that he's looking out for in real life that kind of connect to what he probably watched on television. And for that, I really like his little plot line in Lecture Circuit Part 1. And I just wanted to take a moment to kind of shine some, or to kind of give a highlight to this particular part of Andy. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Share this video out to anyone who you think might like this type of video. And if you did like this video, please leave a thumbs up and comment down below something that you love about the Nard Dog. What is something that you kind of hate about the Nard Dog? What do you guys think of the Lecture Circuit episodes, and what really sticks out in your mind? I know for a lot of people it is your birthday. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the comments down below. For now, I'm off to go edit this video and get it up for everybody. Bye, cha.
Darn!